Good evening, everybody. It's Roman Rich. Good to see you again for episode number 28 of 66 Minutes with Roman Rich. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for sharing this show with all your friends. And we got some exciting stuff to talk about tonight. And I appreciate you all being patient with my erratic schedule. I'm going to try to do more videos and more shows consistently for you here. Anyway, did you know that Route 66 turned 97 years old yesterday? Some of you may or may not have known this. If you saw the thumbnail that opened up this episode, it was a cake with Route 66. And yeah, indeed, yesterday on the 11th of November, Route 66 turned 97 years old. I guess to elaborate more on that, every U.S. highway that was commissioned at that time is also 97 years old, approximately. There was a numbering system that took place in 1926. It was a way to organize all the different pathways and roads and highways across the United States in an effort to gain a better understanding of how to navigate. Prior to the numbering system, you had just this mishmash of pathways that were possibly state right-of-ways, state roads, or possibly even corporate-sponsored roads. I know BF Goodrich had their own sponsored road, and you had National Old Trails and Ozark Trails and a bunch of other trails and stuff, Dixie Highway, things like that. So it was all a concerted effort to organize the roads and the highways that ran across the states and across the United States. So, 1926, November 11th, that's when that took place. And one other thing about that numbering system, if you didn't know, your odd numbers go east to west or west to east. And that's your even numbers. I got that wrong. Your even numbers go east to west, and your odd numbers go north and south. If you didn't know that, there's one little trivia thing for you. Something else about that cake I want to share with you. People have probably seen that Route 66 cake. It's been going around the internet for quite a few years, and it's something that I've seen. That cake, if you didn't know, happened to be my cake. That's right. That was my birthday cake. Gosh, probably 13, 14 years ago. That's my daughter, Lily. She's probably about 2 years old there. So that was my birthday cake. I must have been about 33 in that picture. So, and I don't look a year older, do I? Do I, crowd? Come on. I need a laugh track for that one. That's a pretty good one. So yeah, that was my cakes over 10 years ago. So if you see it out there, feel free to share it. I always enjoy seeing the cake floating around, especially on the anniversary of Route 66. Speaking of good times and getting together, pretty soon it'll be Christmas before you know it. And so you know what that means. It's time for Christmas parties and Christmas get-togethers. So if you're in the Missouri area, particularly Cuba, Missouri, we're going to be holding our Christmas party in Cuba on the 9th of December. And if you're interested in more in that, please go to Missouri66.org and sign up. Anybody can sign up. You don't have to be a member, although members do get a discount on tickets. It's something we're trying to do to offer more benefits to our Route 66 Association of Missouri members. Feel free to go out there and sign up. We'd love to see you out there in Cuba, Missouri on December 9th. And you can find out more details at Missouri66.org/events, or you can scan that QR code. I'm going to bring open the chat and see what's brewing out there in the big world of the internet. And let's see here. Well, we've got a bunch of people. Andrew Webb from down under. Brady Wilson from Texas says hi. And Brady Wilson says, you don't look a day over 6, especially on 66. Thank you so much. And Steve Munson says, I hope the cake isn't 97 years old. That's pretty funny. So, all right. We'll keep those comments coming. let me get to where my little control panel is. We'll hide that QR code. We'll move on to the next topic. All right. So, Christmas party checks out. Be sure to check out other events while you're there at the Missouri Route 6 Association. And pretty soon, I will be posting my photos of the Missouri Motor Tour. I'm wearing my shirt tonight, the 2023 Missouri Motor Tour. That took place in September. It'll be September of 2024 as well, although we don't have it planned out. So don't try to go buy tickets because they don't exist yet. But I will have those photos up on Facebook pretty soon, and I will provide a link in the group 66 Minutes. And if you're not part of that Facebook group, I would invite you to go there now with this little QR code up in the corner there. I always do that wrong, right there. So that's where you can go to check out the Facebook group 66 Minutes. And you guys are probably dying about what the first topic of the night is. Oh man, I got stuff flying in all over the place. Scott Sargent wants to know about the Forest Manor Motel in Lebanon. It was recently demolished a week or two ago, and whether or not we can save the sign. I'm just as interested in saving that sign as you are, Scott. I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't talked to my colleagues down there yet in Lebanon, and we should probably get to that at some point here. I'll try to get in touch with them maybe later on this week and get you an update next week. In case anybody else is interested more in that Christmas party, here's a few details I'd like to share with you directly from our page. And here they are right there. So that is the details. Let's see here. We've got our chat in the way. Move that over. So there it is. It's at the Reckland Center in Cuba, Missouri. Tickets are starting at $15. It runs from 6 to 10 p.m. So I hope you join us for that. The next thing on our list, I'm going to jump over to it here real quick, is going to be, we're going to talk about a couple of the updates, some of the happenings along the road here. And there's a lot of good stuff going on. So first up, the National Park Service, the Route 66 Corridor Program, that happens to do a lot of grants and preservation work for the Route 66 corridor, has just released their grant recipients for 2023. And I'm excited about one. I didn't apply for any this year for the Shamrock. In fact, we're still working through a few at the Shamrock. We're almost done with that project. But what we're looking at is that I thought was really cool is the Roadrunner Retreat neon restoration sign in Chambliss, California. And if I get a chance here, I'd like to share with you just a couple of my images from that location. At least if you're not familiar, I can just show you what it is we're looking at here. Give me just a second and I'll jump on and show my screen. Let's see here, window. Let me open it up here. Give me just a moment. Okay. There we go. So there's the image right there. That is the Chambliss Roadrunner Retreat sign. That's a photo I took back in 2016. Let me see if I can blow that up. Yeah, it's pretty good. The chat doesn't interfere with it so much. So I shot that photo in a very interesting set of circumstances. That was during one of those supermoon events that we have very seldomly. We have these supermoon events, but not like this. This was a supermoon event back in 2016 that it was still practically light outside at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And that's about the time I shot this photo. And I did some long exposure on it. It's one of my favorite images. And I may have another one to share with you here. That's a closer up view of it. So what they're going to be doing here in Chambliss at the Roadrunner Retreat is they're going to be restoring that neon sign. And so they've already started work on it. And I'm going to share some images with you from the internet and some of the progress. Beth Murray has been after this project to get it done. And she's just been really going at it. I really applaud her for her hard work in trying to promote this project. Let's go find the website real quick, and I'll share that with y'all. Let's see here. I want to get in there. I got to clear out all my Facebook Messenger posts. I had people hitting me up just before the show, so I apologize for the delay. Let's get in there and we'll show you what we got here. All right. So that's what we're looking at right here. Let's see here. Okay. You can see this is the head. They're reconstructing the head of the Roadrunner that had been missing for so long right there. And look how big that is. That thing is huge. I'm so excited to see this. And this is from last year, about a year ago, October 18th of 2022. So they've been hard at working to get this sign restored. They're doing a fantastic job, it looks like. Let's just throw that a like real quick. It's very deserving of it. And yeah, so that's the Roadrunner head. And they're going to be getting that back installed, I believe, and having the whole sign lit up with brand new neon. Very exciting stuff. What else do we got here? It talks about the National Park Service grant. It's a cost share match of roughly, looks like it's going to cost about $30-something thousand. The National Park Service is contributing $17,000, and I believe the owners, of which is the Murphys, they'll be providing another $18-some-odd thousand to get that relit. So hopefully, I didn't see any other fundraising announcements, but if I see one, I'll definitely promote it. I know they had a T-shirt fundraiser last year, and I really wanted to participate in that, but I just slipped my mind and didn't get around to it. And you know how I love T-shirts. I would have really loved to have supported that project and had a T-shirt at the same time. That would have been really nice. Let's see here. What else are we going to get into? All right. That was the Roadrunner. We got a few other topics as well. But before I get into that, I want to talk about our picture. No, let's see. That's not it. I don't want to do picture of the week. What do I want to do here? Well, I forgot to load it up, folks. Let's see here, but we'll find it real quick. I wanted to get your help on something. If I could just get a moment of your time to check out a picture I uploaded. I uploaded to two of my pages, uploaded to 66 Minutes, and I also uploaded it to another page, another group of mine called Route 66 360 Views. And this is the image right here. And if you've never seen a 360 photo, if you go on there, you can see everything that I see. It's a live 360 virtual view. And what I need your help with is I need to paint this room and maybe do a few different changes. It's just kind of a blah room. The rest of my rooms in the studio are so vibrant and full of color. Go check it out and let me know what your thoughts are on the changes I should make to that bathroom, whether it be flooring or new vanity, new mirrors, crown molding, maybe some tin ceiling or something. I don't know. Sky's the limit. I'm very curious to see what you guys would do with this tiny little bathroom. And I would love to incorporate some of your ideas into the final results there. So I'd appreciate that. Had a few other comments here. Let me see if I can bring those back up. So let's see. Oh, can I put the Restream join-in link in the chat? Yeah, I can do that. It was actually in the comments, but I can pop it up here too on a QR code. Let's see here. 66 Minutes, join the show. You click on that QR code and you can join us. I know I got John Lobin there and Elizabeth on the deck, and I'm hoping to get some other people in here too to discuss the next topic, which will be the blue whale. Mike May says the Roadrunner Retreat didn't do a T-shirt fundraiser this year, but they did have some made for volunteers, and that shirt may be used for a future fundraiser. Well, that is fantastic. Mike, do me a favor and hit me up in regards to that T-shirt fundraiser, because I want to share with you a few concerns with t-shirt fundraisers, and the company that I've been using to do those for years, and we're actually changing companies. So hit me up later, Mike, if you would, and I'll discuss that with you. And let me see what else we got here on the chat. Let's see. Okay, we got some people from Belleville, Illinois, Seligman, Arizona. It's Debbie. And got all sorts of people from all over the place showing up in the chat. So there are a lot of people watching tonight. That's fantastic. A lot of our previous guests are actually on here tonight on the chat. So that's excellent. So, all right. I don't see anything else. I'm going to go on to the next topic. And that's one that we all love, we all enjoy. And that is the blue whale of Catoosa. Now, I don't have any pictures of mine to show you, but I am going to share my screen. We're going to cover a few things. This is a very, very sensitive topic, but it's also one that's very deserving. And let's go into this and see what we've got here. Okay. I may have to close out that chat again. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to close out the chat. All right. So, blue whale of Catoosa. Many of you probably know that the city of Catoosa purchased the blue whale. I guess it's been 2 or 3 years ago now, and they've done a nice job of maintaining it and cleaning it up. And it's just it's one of those places along Route 66. It's hard to ignore, and you always want to stop at. You always look forward to seeing it. But there's been some ideas of redevelopment. So what I want to show you all, I want to show you a video, and there's information here, but I want to go into the video first and talk about that. Let's bring that up real quick, and we'll play that for you. Okay, here it goes. About a 2-minute long video here. Doesn't say anything. It just talks about, or just demonstrates some of the vision of the city managers and the engineers that are working on this project. I'm going to pause it right here. And you probably can't see my mouse on the screen, but if you look at the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the head of the blue whale. And if you look straight ahead, that is normally where you would see the existing gift shop. And so over to the left, you'll see this peculiar looking building. It's a neat looking building that has kind of a whale tail roof shape to it, and with glass windows everywhere. Nice looking building. If I had to guess, that's where the current arc sets right now. The arc sets right there. And so that's a bit concerning. That is where the arc is built and is currently at. So let's keep going here real quick. Miniature golf course right there. Interesting idea to call a miniature golf course. There's some sort of a fire pit, canopy area with a life-size chess game. You also see a playground, little Airstream trailers, and there's the visitor center outlined with probably a simulation LED neon, some lighting, and some dramatic sunset effects also applied. Video's coming to an end here shortly. We've got ourselves a blue whale neon sign. That's where we're at. Okay, let that sink in for a second, folks. Let's tell the tale. Okay, let's do that. Let's tell the tale. And so I'm going to bring in Elizabeth Olwig. And you're going to turn your audio down, Elizabeth. Otherwise, we're going to have this crazy echo going the whole time. So, at any rate, we've got the blue whale. I got this plan to redevelop. Have you turned down your audio?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if I can. No, there's not much I can do. You might try to turn it down a bit more. I don't. It's weird.
Yeah, I've got like nothing on.
Okay. Well, how's that? No, it's still the same. Well, we'll power through it. Okay. So, what do you think about this video of the Catoosa blue whale development that they've got shown up here?
It makes me very sad. Nothing about it excites me or makes me happy.
Well, why is that? It looks like they've put a lot of effort and a lot of thought into this. Well, why would it make you sad?
Well, one, you hardly see the blue whale there. It's not about the blue whale anymore. That when places do things like this, they lose the whole, like, the purpose of the blue whale was a gift that a husband made for his wife years and years ago, and it's just a kitschy little roadside attraction, and that's what people love about it. They're not looking for some, bright lights, just huge overdone attraction. That's not what people want, and they are going to ruin it.
Yeah, I agree. And to everybody out there, I want you to. I'm going to mute your microphone, Elizabeth, as I talk, and then I'll unmute you so we don't get the feedback.
Okay.
So everybody out there, you're all entitled to your opinion. If you think this is awesome, then great. Tell us about it. I would love to hear about it in the comments, in the Facebook groups and stuff like that. But this is kind of like the mastermind of John Blish. He works for the city of Catoosa, so you could call him and express your support or express your criticism or talk about the different changes that you'd like to see. But here is my generalized idea of what I see. What I see is a group of people who probably don't know much about Route 66. They might have some idea of their localized area, but they've probably, and I don't want to assume too much, but I'd be willing to bet they've probably never traveled all of Route 66. It just seems like this way of making a roadside attraction that's been there for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, actually, almost, become something new and homogenized and totally modernized. And the whole point of what Route 66 is about for most people, I mean, yeah, there's an evolution to it, and I agree with that, but we want to see the old stuff. We want to see the vintage stuff. We want to see the past. We want to live in the past. You want to become part of the past and understand what it was like to be there. And the blue whale, as it sets right now, is relatively unchanged. I've unmuted you, Elizabeth.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and you lived in Tulsa for a while, just outside of Catoosa, didn't you?
Yeah. That's like, and that's something that's so fun to see people like go in there. They get all excited that this big sculpture is still there, and they can run out into the middle of the whale and go look at the lake surrounding it. And I think somewhere that they were talking about making swimming available again in the lake, which I don't like that idea. But like, if anything, if you have that money, I feel like you should just use it to fix the arc and fix the bathrooms and fix up the gift shop. And
I agree.
pave the path around the lake and then leave it. Nothing else needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm turning on the chat again, just in case anybody wants to chime in there. And so far, there's a lot of people that agree with us. There's been some questions about whether or not Oklahoma Route 66 Association has been involved, and I really don't know. Um, it's it's kind of, to me. Another person says it's talking about the kitsch. It's almost, it's just really taking it too far. It's eradicating the history. It's a very delicate balance for Route 66 visitors to see these places in their raw and undisturbed form. And I have to deal with this myself. I mean, with the Shamrock Motor Court, I'm constantly thinking about how do I preserve the characteristics that are important to the history of the Shamrock Motor Court while bringing a more modern feel or experience to people that isn't going to put them off to stay there. I want people to stay at my motel and not feel like they're living in some sort of archaic atmosphere that's uncomfortable. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to be happy. So I understand the balance here, but I think the city manager and I think the engineers that were put on this project don't have a clue. I don't think they have a clue of what's going on here and what they're doing. And if I look down through the plans and I see these Airbnb ideas, honestly, I don't see any unique or novel ideas put into place here. I see a lot of regurgitation. I see, this golf course with Gemini Giant and the Cadillac Ranch, and you see mini golf. You see these little Airbnb campers, and these are all ideas that are interesting, but none of them are novel. None of them are original, and none of them make sense at this site, as far as I'm concerned. What we want to see is the whale kept up and maintained. I agree with Elizabeth. Fixing the bathrooms, because, and I should have had pictures ready to go. The bathrooms are really cool. The bathrooms are really neat looking. The whole site was this artistic creation from Hugh Davis and given to his wife Zelta Davis, and they're gonna destroy all of his art. They're going to eradicate all of his art, everything that, well, not everything except for the whale, nearly everything that he put into that site to give to his wife and the area children, because it was basically a petting zoo and a swimming hole. They're going to get rid of all that, and they're going to turn it into this circus, as far as I'm concerned. Megan Campbell Smith, and she's also she's here in the chat. She owns a very iconic motel. It's not Route 66, but it's one of the TP motels in Cave City. She owns one of 3 that are left, so she understands. And as she says, there's something to be said for authenticity. And so the guiding light in taking on one of these preservation projects, at least for me, when I've done it, is I try not to ever do anything that can't be undone, or if I am going to do something that can't be undone, it has to be for the ultimate greater good. Because once it's gone, it's gone. What else do you think, Elizabeth?
Yeah. Well, I'm in one of those moods right now where I'm like, I feel like we need to start a petition or something, and I want to contact. We were talking about a few ladies in Oklahoma that used to work at the Blue Whale and would be, I don't know if any of them have thought about doing anything, but um, I feel like they could potentially make a difference. And like, okay, I feel like we need to contact them and try and put a stop to this. So
Yeah, and I gotta really encourage the viewers out there. You can do this. The reason why I've got the phone number up there, and it's not to bombard this guy with negativity. It's not to tell him that he's doing a bad job. Um, but it is to try to help them understand that what they're doing is catastrophic, that what they're doing is irreversible, and it's costly. They, as far as I know, I read down through this article in Tulsa World, which you could find it. Tulsa World Blue Whale. It was updated a week ago. Um, they don't even have the money together yet, and so the way I'm seeing this is, okay, why don't we just take a better, more practical look of this? Everything that they've injected into the site, which I do think we have a site plan here. Let me see. I know I saw an aerial view, which was intriguing. There it is right there. Let's see if I can blow it up for everybody. Okay, there it is. There's the site view. There's the whale right there where my pointer is at. Okay. Well, the ark would be right here, and that's gone. And all of the old like petting zoo exhibits and stuff, and I know they're abandoned and in really bad shape, and they're all spread out through here. But and then you got the visitor center and all this stuff going on. It just really overshadowing the blue whale. It's overshadowing what people want to go there and see. It's I just, to me, it doesn't make sense. We're going to have all this camping and stuff there. And that's an interesting affair, I guess. It would be cool to camp at the Blue Whale. I'm not going to say it wouldn't be, especially if they reopened the ability to swim out there. Then I could say, yeah, if I've got 5 kids. We would love to stay there in our camper, our own RV, and not somebody else's, not this Airbnb thing. And there's plenty of people out there that would warn against this, because it's hard to keep those little trailers maintained and updated with people staying in them every night. But I would love to stay there overnight, and if the kids could swim and stuff. And there's probably room to develop that, but the mini golf and stuff, it's just, to me, it's an overreach. So I want to encourage everybody out there. Go ahead, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Linda just left a comment. I couldn't read it.
Okay, let's see here. It's a long comment. She says that she thinks that this is a rough draft. The new stuff needs to go to the south end and leave the whale. So um, I'd like to, maybe in the next episode, I can convince Linda to coming on the show and talking about this, because Linda Hobbs has worked at the whale for a long, long time, and she understands it better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, Elizabeth. I would love to see the ark rebuilt. I know it's in bad shape, but it was really neat. I would like to see some of those old uh, exhibits and stuff that Hugh created, possibly rebuilt. I think it would be really neat. Mike May was asking, I wonder if they've had any input from travelers, and I doubt they have. I mean, there was no survey delivered to me. I know that. I would have given one. Um, I do not have an email for John Blish, um, but whoever's interested in contacting him, you could just type in his name, John Blish, City of Catoosa, and I bet you could find his email address easy enough, because I found his phone number really easy. It was not difficult to find. So I want to go down through, though, and just look at a few other things in this proposal.
No.
Let's see here. They got a bunch of stuff, but what really troubles me is they're getting rid of a lot of the creations that were already built, and they're injecting all this new stuff. And some new stuff is okay, but like this, to me, this drive-through Route 66 shield it's played out. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I know people like them, but it's played out. Grants, New Mexico did it, and then Kingman has one. I believe Illinois may have one someplace. And as Missouri Route 66 president, I'm not going to endorse having one. I mean, they're kind of neat, but man, it's like you can't just be so repetitive. You're doing the same thing across all of Route 66. If you're going to keep it interesting, you got to have people that are bringing new ideas and concepts to the table. And this is not a new idea. I mean, it's easy enough, but like you see it 5-6 times. The whole idea is to create a memory that is unique to its own. And so what are you going to do? Stop at every one of these and say, well, I don't know where I was at. I was at one of these drive-through Route 66 shields, like it just seems silly to me. Okay. I'm going to keep scrolling through. Feel free to talk. Feel free to mention anything.
Brady,
I'm going to bring in, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Brady asked in a previous comment, like, why include Cadillac Ranch and why include the Gemini Giant and all that? It's just on the miniature golf course. It's like accessories. The Mother Road Market did it in Tulsa, and what is it? Some other miniature golf course I went to in Illinois, I think. They did the same thing. It's just making it a Route 66 mini golf course.
You want to know what I never see pictures of on Facebook or anywhere else or anything? Take a wild guess what I never see.
I'm going to guess.
Okay,
is it the Putt Pirates at Uranus?
Never seen anybody play it.
No, I haven't either.
The only time I've seen Route 66 themed golf course was from Kokomo Joe's, which wasn't even on Route 66. It was in St. Peters, Missouri. My kids used to go there. But other than that, I've never seen anybody posting photos of the great time they're having playing miniature golf on Route 66. Not to say that it isn't possible, and I admire Louis Keene for what he's doing up at Uranus, but I don't know what's going on with the Putt Pirates, and I just never see anybody doing anything with miniature golf. I know it exists along Route 66, so I think a nature walk would be a better idea. I don't know. I just it seems like a nature walk.
Yeah, there's never anybody on that golf course whenever I'm out there. So
I don't think it's open.
I mean, it's got a neon sign there now.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful neon sign there, but I don't think it's open. I've never seen anybody playing there, and I've stopped there and took pictures of it a couple times. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with it, but again, there's other miniature golf courses around and on Route 66, but you never see anybody going, man, we had a great time here playing miniature golf on Route 66. And I'm not one to bring about criticism without a solution. That's one of my pet peeves is people that complain and moan about stuff, but never have any sort of solution to offer. So why not embrace the idea of the history and actually do some digging, actually do some research, and how about implementing some history of the Davises and what it was they did? Because to me, that's more interesting than the whale itself. And I don't know who wrote the book, and I wish I had it here, but it was something called Carnival of Amusement or something, or Amusements Along Route 66. And on the cover is Zelta Davis playing with a snake. And I ought to go find that and put it up on screen. But that book tells about the Davises and the blue whale and the whole petting zoo theme. Why not bring back some of that? I'm not saying you got to have a petting zoo because there's some liabilities there, but at least maybe have some exhibits that talk about that and actually pay homage to the legacy of the site. That's what it should be. My opinion. Somebody says I'm echoing bad. I understand. I'm having to cancel out Elizabeth's microphone because it's feedbacking through her end. So I apologize for that. But for everybody who's out there watching the show, please put your comments out there on Facebook. Let's see it. What should we do about it? Should we start a petition? Should we try to intervene? Because let me tell you, there's a lot of projects that I've been a part of, and people don't seem to think it's possible to make changes or to stop actions already kind of in play, but it is. We saved the Gasconade Bridge. We saved what's left of John's Modern Cabins. um, the sidewalk highway, the Ribbon Road in Oklahoma, that was going to be totally ground up and destroyed. And we stopped that too. So, what it takes is a bunch of concerned people basically getting the attention of these city officials or these people in charge and telling them, number one, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the experience and wisdom to be doing this. Two, since you are in control, here's what we think you should do as a solution. So basically, one, telling them that they're not right. And number two, telling them how to make it right. That's what we need to do. But just tell me what you guys think. And Jennifer Allison, she just jumped in there and told me what the name of that book was. It was Thomas Rep, Empires of Amusement. Everyone out there, I don't care if you like to read or don't like to read, that is an excellent book, one of my favorite books on Route 66. Thomas Rep, Empires of Amusement. Go get it today. You'll see Zelta Davis on the cover of that book, and you'll know then, if you read that book, you'll know exactly why I'm so annoyed by this redevelopment idea, and I'm so passionate about it, because I want to protect and preserve our history. Period. Elizabeth, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
Just like, I agree with you 100%. And so much kitsch, like all that from before my time, before your time, it's all like, it was so fun to see in pictures and movies and all that, and it's all disappearing. Like, and so the little bit that we are able to experience, I don't want it to go away, you know?
I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm going to go ahead and sign you off because of the feedback issue. But anyway, thanks for coming on tonight, Elizabeth. I'm going to move on to the next topic, and I'll see you later. She said goodbye. I had her muted. All right. So, all right. Next topic, because I don't want to beat the blue whale to death, but I do want to encourage you guys, get out there and please, if there's something you think I can do to change these people's minds over in Catoosa, and this Hampton Creative, who happens to be the development group or the engineer behind these renderings, let me know what it is I should do. Don't leave the comments here. Go into Facebook, go into YouTube, type out your comments. Let me know. You can even send me a personal message if you think we need to get a petition together or something. Let's do it. You got me as your front man to make this happen. All right, let's see here. Where am I at? I'm going to take John Blish's number down. If you didn't get it written down, you can always go back and check out these recordings at YouTube under the live section of my playlist. You can always catch them there. That's where you'll see them at. Okay, we're going to move that off. And is there anything else? We pretty much covered all the blue whale stuff. You can Google this, hamptoncreative.com. They're the ones working on it. Tulsa World also did an article on it. Route 66 News did some articles on it. And so you can find out all the information there, make an informed decision on what your opinion is, and let me know. Okay. Let's move into the picture of the week. I apologize to everybody because I've been so wrapped up with all sorts of projects and things going on that I haven't had time to do what it is I promised I would do with putting pictures out there. And I know we had some people posting in the Route 66 66 minutes webcast group that were over posting and kind of hogging up the feed. And I have since limited that activity. So again, please feel free to post your photos and stuff in here. But this photo comes from Tim Berglund, and I thought this was neat. I've seen these around a lot. This is the Route 66 Yamaha motorcycle. These are pretty cool. You don't see these very often. You used to see them a lot. I think these were made in the late 80s into the early 90s. And it was this Route 66 themed motorcycle. This one happened to be listed on Facebook Marketplace. Looks like it might still be available. I think it is. So those of you who are into motorcycles and stuff, this one's listed for $2,500. It's a pretty clean looking, neat looking motorcycle. So I thought that was interesting as far as for pictures of the week. And then I don't know if I showed it, but then I was cleaning up some papers off my desk, and I came across one from my son that he gave me last month. Let's see if I can show it. It's and it just happens to be his version of the blue whale. That's from Augie. That's my second youngest son. He's number 4 of 5. He beat his brother by 45 seconds. They're twins. And so that's the blue whale from August. He did that in October of this year. So those are the picks of the week. Hope you like those. Please upload your photos to 66 minutes. I like to look at all the different photos. I'll probably pick yours next week, and we'll go from there. Next up, and we're doing good. We got 20 minutes left. We're going to talk about another sensitive subject coming from Oklahoma. And I'm not trying to pick on Oklahoma this week, but it kind of sure seems that way. And I'm talking about the Glancy Motel. It was taken down and destroyed this week. It was demolished. And I got a couple of videos from my archive that we can take a look at just to see. They're not very good videos. It was something that I shot just spur of the moment. And I wish I had taken more time to view it. And I should have stopped a few weeks ago during the Texas Motor Tour and gotten more video. But they started demolishing this thing back in February. And from what I understand, the whole thing has been demolished now. Maybe the sign still stands, but the motel itself has been destroyed. Let's take a look.
They tearing this down, you said?
Yeah. So I shot this with the producers of Small Town Big Deal about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. It might have been a year and a half ago we shot this. And that's the sign. We've got another video as well. Hopefully, I'm going to pause it. You don't really see this style of sign very often. It's like a googie sign. It's neon. It's got some plastic in it. It's just different. It's not really, I wouldn't call it atomic era. I think it's more googie style, kind of a weird mid-century modern. Hopefully, somebody from Oklahoma will save this sign, even if it was just a trophy hunter that came in and took the sign down for his own collection. I'd rather see that than to see the sign get scrapped. And maybe somebody out there will inform me, educate me on what is going on with the sign, because that's what concerns me most as of right now. But if you look down the lower left-hand part of your screen, you can see these kitschy little fence railings and stuff. And I'll try to bring up another video showing even more. This one focused more on the sign and the pigeons that lived in the sign. So there you can kind of see it was this 1960s style. You got the kind of this slanted roof that was really popular back then, the slanted columns and diamonds and squares and all these shapes that are incorporated in the architecture of the motel. So from what I understand, all that complex has been dismantled and demolished at this point. What a bummer. So, yeah. That's a bummer. So let's try to find the next one here. I'm changing out the QR code because I want people to click on that QR code and go to the Facebook group and again respond to the blue whale stuff and put your pictures in there that you're really proud of and see if we can get them featured on next week's episode of 66 Minutes. Let me find that next video real quick. Yeah. Now this one's kind of shaky. I apologize, but let's check it out anyway. This was in Clinton, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Again, it was probably Amy Cornett shooting the video. It's a little jerky, but you can kind of still see the facility. I'll pause. Again, you look in the background, you see that really crazy 1960s, early 70s style motel. They're just not going to build them like this anymore, folks. Like once they're gone, they are gone. This is in Clinton, Oklahoma. Can't understand how this site was not redeveloped. This is home of the Route 66 Museum of Oklahoma, one of the best museums you can find on Route 66, just down the street from here. Ground. What a bummer.
I like that.
I'm gonna shoot it too. I saw some pigeons.
Okay. All right. So that was the Glancy Motel, and I do believe I have a few things online here that talk about it. Let's see here. Let me bring those up. All right. Route 66 News, July 31st, ultimately accepted a bid to tear down the closed Glancy Motel. There was some resistance from a trustee and one resident who both questioned the move. Vote was 4-1. The city will have spent $500,000 on the property. Yeah, $500,000 on the property before turning it over to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. This is where the new Oklahoma Highway Patrol headquarters will be built. And there's a lot of land in Oklahoma. It just blows my mind that they had to pick this place. This happens all the time, too, people. It happened in Tucumcari, New Mexico, with the old cactus courts. That was another beautiful piece of Southwestern architecture, an old motor court that was torn down. They built an O'Reilly's auto parts store there. There's so much property in Tucumcari that's cheap. It just blows my mind that they have to pick the historic structures to tear down. There was a post going around on Facebook from Jim Ross a couple days ago that talked about lost icons of the road, whether it be people or places or buildings or whatever. And there was a couple that popped up, like Stony Dell here in Missouri, in Arlington, Missouri, was one. If you're not familiar with it, you can Google Stony Dell and check it out. That's one that at first I thought the Coral Court was one that I really wanted to see. And Matt Cooper in the chat, he talks about how it was torn down in the 90s. And I actually got to see Coral Courts up close and personal when I was just 15 years old. I was so intrigued by them. My sister took me to go see them because she just lived around the corner from the Coral Courts. And that was one that I thought, man, if that was here today, if the Coral Courts was here today, it would be one of the most popular stops on Route 66, if not the most popular stop. I know people love the Tucumcari Motel, the Blue Swallow Motel. And by far, it's probably one of the top 5 places to stay on Route 66. And no offense to the Blue Swallow or the owners of the Blue Swallow or anybody, because what they're doing is extending the legacy of that motel, and it's definitely deserving of it. But it doesn't hold a candle to what the Coral Courts was. The Coral Courts was a streamlined, modern motel, and it just blew everything away. It was just so cool, and it's gone. You can't replicate it. It's gone. Uh, I mentioned the Stony Dale. Stony Dale was this big swimming pool and resort in Arlington. If it was still there, man, let me tell you, you would have some sort of attraction. You'd have thousands of people coming there to swim in that place. A naturally fed spring from the waters of the Ozarks. That spring is still running today. That's what fed that pool, and it's gone. They removed it because they thought the interstate was going to be put through that pool, and turns out that it wasn't. They could have left it, and it would have been just fine. But no, they tore it down. Okay, so I want to mention a piece by Reese Martin from the Oklahoma Route 66 Association. He does talk about the history of the Glancy Motel. I would encourage you all to go to the Oklahoma Route 66 Association and read about this. It's a really nice piece that Reese Martin did. Talks about the history and the original proprietors of the motel. It's definitely worth a read. It'll take you about 5 minutes to read it, and it goes into the history. You can see some of the details here. And if you guys have ever been contemplating whether or not you want to take on a restoration or preservation project, if you have the resources, you should. You should do it. Nothing will extend your legacy like preserving an old historic building. On the other hand, if you're one of these individuals who doesn't have the means to take on a huge motel project or something like that, you can always donate. Donating $5, $10, $100, $500, $1,000, that's important to these projects. Without people like you, it cannot happen. I just have to stress that. These places do not save themselves. They cannot save themselves. They will not save themselves. It all comes down to people like you and me saving them, whether it's we get in there and we do boots on the ground and we get dirty and we put sweat equity into these projects, or you get your checkbook out and you write the check for whatever it is, do the PayPal donation, whatever it is, you contribute to the projects. That's what saves these projects, folks. If you love these places, if you love history, if you love Americana, you know what to do. You got to support these projects. Okay. What else is on my list? Oh, we are coming down to the closing moments. I'm going to bring in, we got John Lobin. He's always perched in the green room with his counterpart, Elizabeth. I'm going to bring them in. They haven't done all of Route 66, but I want to hear what their take is on the Blue Whale and the Glancy, and what I want to know what they think, because they're kind of newbie Route 66 enthusiasts. Let's see what they think.
Hi, Rich. How you doing?
Hi, Rich.
Hey.
I've been sitting here. I've got the Easy 66 book from Jerry McClanahan.
Yeah.
And in the Oklahoma page 9, there's a little mention there of the blue whale. If I can flip that to where it's not blanked out by the light so much. That's a place we'd like to see in its original form. What this community is looking to do is just does not interest me in the least bit.
It kind of burns me.
If I go to see places, I want to see it in its most original form as possible. And I don't want to see a bunch of other attractions riding on its name being built around the community, because I'm not going to go see them.
That's a good point. That's a real good point. They're muddling the main attraction, and I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to grab people and get them to spend money there, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think people are going to reject it.
Yeah, I think it's not going to work out well for them. I agree with you on, they ought to be doing what they can to make sure the whale's restored. The lake looks nice. Maybe, a little bit of camping in the area would be great. Would keep more people around the area. And I think that's what people want to see. When you go to an attraction, you're hoping to run into people that have a similar interest.
Right.
And you don't want to show up there and be the only ones there. It's nice to run into some other people that have a common interest. And maybe having a little campground there would be pretty nice. I don't know if you said they were going to rebuild the Ark or even looking at that.
No, it looks like they're going to have to tear it down. They had a parking lot
Yeah.
and a visitor center where the Ark is located at right now.
Yeah, I'd like to see it as, as original as can be. We're hoping to someday, ride a lot of the area adjacent to Route 66 so we can stop and look at areas that are, original right of way. I've got a strong interest in old bridges from Route 66 on the way.
Well, I
And
saved one for you.
yeah,
The
that's the
Gasconade.
first. That's probably the first bridge we'll go to see. And we'd like to get out to White Sands, New Mexico, the Trinity site. I don't know how close that is to Route 66, though.
It's not. It's
Dang it.
not, but if you're in the
But we want to
Southwest,
go
make all the
there.
side trips you can.
Yeah, we've taken up an interest in radioactive minerals. I've had a little Geiger counter here for a while.
Yeah.
That's sitting next to a little sample. It's a Geiger counter test card. They don't say what radioactive material is in here. So
I'm
I don't know
glad
if
it's
it's
in your
cesium
hands and not mine.
or what it is. Oh, this is really low level, just a little bit above
Oh, that's
background, just
nothing.
enough to tickle a Geiger counter. And we watch a lot of videos, especially lately, on radioactivity, old mines out west. And there's one YouTuber we watch, Radioactive Drew,
Mhm.
and he's done some videos on. He runs an IMAX projector sometimes, and he's done some wonderful videos on how to operate an IMAX projector, which is, it's huge, and it takes a good bit of skill to operate. He's done a couple of videos on the IMAX projector when he was showing what was the movie? It was Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And so he's got, 2 or 3 really good videos on that. I was just fascinated watching those. But he does a lot of videos where he goes out in the field, old mines, and he'll take a Geiger counter with him. Of course, he's got one that's, a real
Way more
professional,
Oh, sure, it's far
expensive one.
superior. Yeah.
And I just ordered a gamma ray spectrometer because there's one that's come down into the price range where I can afford it. It was under $300, and it was originally, these were originally built in Russia, and the company moved to Cyprus, so it's built somewhere in Europe. But it will actually show you the different radioactive isotopes and identify what that radioactive material is. So that's coming in the next 10 days or so. But
Well, that's cool. As
so
far
we
as
want to
I
get
know, like in New Mexico, I think Grants, New Mexico, which is on Route 66, may have had some minor involvement in some of that Manhattan project and stuff like that, or maybe it was Milan, which is a neighboring community to Grants. But I don't think there's anything on Route 66 directly tied to the atomic program or anything, the nuclear program like that. I think it's pretty far removed.
Well, 66 and that are 2 things that I think we want to make as our ultimate destination. I don't think we're going to get as far as California. I've spent a month in LA. I can't say I'm crazy about getting out to the West Coast, but I'd like to go as far as New Mexico, and we'd like to see as many 66 sites, original pieces, areas of the roadbed as possible, and some of these attractions, the more important attractions along the way.
Well, I'm glad to hear from you guys on that. I really wanted to hear your genuine opinion of the blue whale because if we don't react soon, they're just going to keep forging ahead with this silly and costly proposal of redeveloping that site. And I I trust that the city leaders will be receptive to the actual Route 66 community. And it just sucks though to me because they spent so much money on this feasibility study and these renderings and all this stuff. It's just taxpayer money out the door when they could have gone and done some surveys and actually uh, done some investigation first before putting together these proposals. John, I'm gonna send you off here. I got just a couple more things to do, but I've only got about a minute left, so I'll be right back. Okay.
And did he mention the thing in Cuba, the Christmas party?
He did
Yeah.
mention that.
Okay, we came
Earlier.
in on the end of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You
I'm
didn't
gonna
hear
put
it. I
that
was
back
here
up
and I
here.
heard it.
That's
Yeah.
something we could make it to. We spent a little bit of time in Cuba. I love
I
the
love
murals
Cuba.
that they've got scattered all over the town, all over the community.
Yeah.
And we'd like to get back there again. And there's a hotel we saw in Cuba, has the same
The
kind of
wagon
stone
wheel.
as yours.
Wagon
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
wheel.
wagon wheel. You
Yeah.
definitely want to
You
stay
passed
there. I'll
the
be right
wagon wheel.
back with you guys. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to do a favor for Brady out of Texas. He wanted me to give a shout out to Blanca and Blair out of Jericho, Texas, and they are trying to put together some sort of an effort to get a Texas historical marker that is addressing the town of Jericho. Let me make that bigger. Give me a second here. I'm going to get rid of the chat. All right. I don't have a link, but this is from Facebook. You can just go Jericho on 66. I tried the website, it wasn't working, but go to Jericho on 66 and look for an opportunity. There's going to be probably some money or a petition or some sort of a crowdfunding piece of activity that supports getting a Texas historic sign or marker there erected at the old town site of Jericho. And if you don't know what Jericho is, you should do yourself a favor and Google Jericho Gap. It's a very entertaining and storied history that goes along with the town of Jericho, Texas, and how they used to pull people out of the mud there that were traversing through their community going cross country. It's very neat. And the what's left of the little town of Jericho, you should go through and look at this Facebook page and check it out as well because it's really cool. There's not much left, but there's enough to make it interesting. And that's what we all love. We all love this about Route 66. I'm going to post one more link about the Christmas party. My stomach is going crazy. Dinner's ready. So I'm going to be logging off here in just a second. There's the Christmas party link. Definitely want to check that out right there. Yeah, click that link. Join us in Cuba, December 9th, 2023. And I promise you have a good time. We're going to have a gift giving, the white elephant gift contest. Those are always fun, those gift exchanges and all sorts of stuff. There is a discount for members. If you're not a member, you should become a member. The memberships are as low as $20 or $25. And I think I mentioned in the last broadcast that we are putting our entire Route 66 quarterly newsletter / magazine from now until from 1989 up until current. We're putting that whole library online. And if you look back at the last episode 27, you'll see that it's really a cool interactive magazine viewer. We don't have it all online yet, but we're getting it there. Memberships start at about $20. If you're here in the United States and you'd like to get the paper magazine, which usually I've got one here, I put them all away. You want to get the actual full color magazine in your hands, sign up for one of those individual or family memberships, and that'll get it sent to you. But for anybody in the world, you can become a digital member and you can see those magazines online. Check them out. Be sure to join us. And again, if you're going to be in Cuba, may as well join the membership and get a discount on those tickets. So, all right, folks, I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I'm a couple minutes over, but that's okay. I just want to thank you all for sharing this. Thank you for commenting and posting your photos and all that stuff and being here in the chat. As always, I'm Roman Rich. Go your own way. And if I can get to my ending music, oh, there it is. Great. I'll see you guys down the road. Be good.